Hello, Hero Collectors here. How's it going, everybody? Hope y'all are doing fantastic. I know I am. And today, yes, once again, it's a shelf update. Now, the last two videos, as long as everything went all right and I got those uploaded, those were very different from what today's video is going to be. Today's video is going to be more like what I used to do, where I've just got a bunch of figures that I'm just going to put up on the shelf in my own time, and then I will update you throughout this video. So, it's not like with the last two where I did like a speed update where you saw me in not real time, but a sped up version of actually updating like this shelf, that shelf over there, and that one too. This is going to be just more casual for me. It doesn't have to be a whole thing, and I don't have to record afterwards with the voiceover and all that. So I'm going to quit rambling and let's actually turn the camera around and see what's going up on the shelf. All right, and here is everything. So a lot of varied figures going in different directions. So starting here at the back, of course, we got the three 12-inch Marvel Legends. To complete that collection, they'll be going down in that display. We've got the Dark Avengers with Wolverine and Miss Marvel. They'll be going up on my Villains display. Agent Venom is replacing my previous Agent Venom in the Symbiote display. This Iron Man is going to go in my Avengers display, replacing the 20th anniversary figure. We've got Captain America and Namor here. They're going to be going in my Invaders team on my Avengers team's shelf. Then you got Wolverine, Ultimate Iron Man, and I'm going to call that Ultimate Wolverine. They're going on my Mystical / Ultimate shelf. Titania is going on my lesser villain shelf, or I need to come up with a better name for that. I used to call it minor villains, lesser villains. What is there? Street level villains? I guess maybe is that what I can call it? Got the Beyonder. He's gonna go up in the Cosmic shelf. Got my custom President Ross and the Infinity War Black Widow. They're gonna be going on my MCU Overflow. And then back here, we've got some X-Factor, X-Men, a couple of Wolverines, and a Professor X. They're going to go on my X-Men Overflow shelf. So lots of different random spots. I'm going to make some progress, as I turn off the camera and just kind of work at my own speed. And then once I have a significant update, I will show you where they went in the actual display. And then, yeah, it's definitely a more casual shelf update. So without further ado, I'm going to get into it. Alright, I've made some progress and figured I would share. So over here, we've got the Invaders with the added Captain America and Namor. I had to kind of squeeze the first appearance Avengers in the back there. But yeah, that shelf. This shelf definitely needs a set of risers, but that'll come a bit later. This is the next one to get a set of risers, though. So stay tuned on the channel for that one. Down here, just added Agent Venom and in between Mania and the Anti-Agent Venom. So got that updated there. Now I'm coming over to my Villains display. I'll have to adjust my light here. The only added figures were Dark Wolverine and Dark Miss Marvel, and I was actually able to kind of finagle, Zemo kind of tucked away back here a little bit more so I could move Doom so that Iron Patriot wasn't blocking Hawkeye. It just worked out a little nicer than I was expecting, so looking pretty good there. And going up one, we've got the Beyonder added to my Cosmic Villains display. Gonna have him next to Doom over there. And then coming down here, if I adjust that, you can see I added Wolverine to the Mystical shelf right in between the Ghost Riders. And then I added the Ultimate Iron Man and my Ultimate Wolverine over here to the Ultimate side of that display. Looking pretty good. And then probably my favorite update to this display is the 12-inch Marvel Legends. So actually here, I'm gonna have to, there. So you can see in the back, I've got 3 Deadpools, followed by the Black Suit Spidey. I kind of wedged Headpool in there next to Wolverine. Got Daredevil right up front. Spider-Man and Black Panther crouched down. And then in the back corner, we've got the Avengers. Black Panther being connected to them as well. But I actually changed out the heads for Hulk and Thor. Originally, I had the beardless Thor head sculpt, and then the other Hulk head sculpt, the one that was more calm, in there. But yeah, that is a completed collection. That I know Toy Biz did some 12-inch Marvel Legends, but these are the 2017 Hasbro ones, a complete line of Marvel Legends right there. So I'd love for this line to be redone, reborn, renewed, whatever you want to call it, brought back, and continued, but do a mixture of these 1/12 or the 1/6 scale characters, but also do characters for our 1/12 collection like Giant Man and Goliath and other stuff that we can fit into our main 6-inch display. But then coming back to the desk, here's what's left. And I want to talk about what's left just for a second because, well, for one, this Iron Man is the one I removed. Oh, I didn't even show that. I swapped out the Iron Man from my Avengers shelf. So let me pause and go back. There he is up on the flight stand, which I don't know if I love the colors on him. He is very bright compared to everybody else. So I don't know. I may swap that out at some point in the future. But yeah, there's my Avengers shelf as it is. I completely forgot that I added him despite the previous one being on my desk. But yeah, going back to my desk. So since he got removed, I'll put him in the Iron Man display. But one thing that I noticed is my copy, the legs always want to stay open. He's a very, let's just say, loose Iron Man. I wonder if that's the case on the rest of the figures on that mold, or if it's just my copy. Titania still needs to be added. And then I've got the X-Men Overflow stuff, but I have actually come to the decision that I'm going to remove these two and not put them up on the display today because I want to put them on my X-Men Teams shelf and not the Overflow, because I'm gonna completely redo the Overflow and remove a couple characters so that they can go on other shelves and maybe just rearrange things in general. But the fact that I can put them on the X-Team shelf since they are starting a team that we can build out, I figured that'd be a better spot for them than to be cramped in the other display. So these three still need to be added to that shelf. The X Factor figures will be added in a different video. Like I mentioned earlier, that X-Team's display will be getting a riser in like the next week or two, so stay on the lookout for that. And then we've got Ross and Black Widow here that are going on the MCU Overflow display. Now, that I have over here on my desk. It's just kind of like a mini shelf, and I have poor lighting on it currently, but basically it's a 3-tiered shelf, but I need to swap the tiers and actually put the MCU one tier up, and I have some imports that are going to go on the bottom tier like you just saw. And then it just for future updates, I need to swap that out now so it's less headache later. And that's just going to be a whole project. So that's why I haven't gotten to those. And if my camera focus, I'd appreciate it. But yeah, these are what's left. And it's basically the 5, 6, 7 figures. So I will update you once I have them on the display. And these are the two that got removed permanently. Or for the moment, it's the previous Dark Wolverine figure. I'm not going to be selling this guy off. It's one of my first Marvel Legends. But this guy, I haven't decided if I want to sell him off. I might just get another new Agent Venom, because I want to have one to go with the Thunderbolts, the Punisher Red Hulk team of Thunderbolts. So I haven't decided if I want to sell this guy off yet, but I'm leaning towards doing it. But yeah, okay. Well, that rambling, I will go update the rest of the shelves and check back in with you later. Alright, shelves are now officially updated with everything that I wanted to do, so let's just go through it. Now, originally down here at the bottom of this kind of side display was my MCU Overflow, but I have now turned this into my miscellaneous shelf, and I'm going to have all my imports. So far, it's just the DC Mafex, and then my Sonic figures and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figures. Eventually, the Super 7 ones will go here next to Super Sonic, and that little space there next to the original 2003 Turtles. But if we come up here, you can see this is where the MCU Overflow now went to. It's basically all the same figures, really. I just added the President Ross figure and the Infinity War Black Widow. But somehow, in the arrangement, I only removed one figure, but seemingly gained some more space. So we'll see what I end up putting in this display later on. And I changed up the pose of the zombie Captain America. As of the time of recording, Marvel Zombies just got the trailer this past week. Very excited to see that show. But yeah, you can just see all the figures I've got through here. And yeah, I've got a bunch of other MCU figures just not on display. These are the main ones that I wanted to have just kind of right there on the display. So I'm going to have to change up the lighting and position so we can take a look at the other shelves that got updated. Alright, coming down to the X-Men Overflow, as you can see. I added just, the Secret Wars Wolverine, the Professor X, Savage Land, and what other figure? I'm blanking. I know. Oh yeah, the Kit Bash Patch Wolverine. That's right, in between them. But I also kind of removed some figures. I had to do some dusting and kind of rearranged figures, and somehow ended up with less space, even after removing a couple, which I'll show you later. But yeah, I may have to remove some of these figures at some point. Maybe I'll remove the AOA after a while, I don't know. And if you're wondering where the Transformers blockies went from the previous shelf that I just showed, they are now down here. This shelf down here was the miscellaneous shelf. It's going to be turned into a third Transformers display, but that's for another video. But coming over to my I still don't love calling them the lesser villains, but my lesser villains shelf, I took everybody off. Didn't initially plan on doing that, but I did. Had to do some dusting and just kind of rearranged everybody. I only removed one figure, but I actually managed to gain a little bit of space, so depending on what villains we get in the future, I'll have to put some more in here. You can see back there I've got like the Serpent Society and a few others. You can see like that. I actually did raise this up. You can see where the 12-inch figures are. I raised this up like 2 or 3 pegs on the side of the shelf there. Just to see, I was toying with the idea of potentially taking down a display higher up and putting the shelf in here just to have a small display in here, maybe for the Ultimates and gain some space. It's something I'm still working on, but I figured at least elevating this would make them more prominent on the display just to begin with, and then I will kind of adjust from there. But I'm not 100% sure if I'm even going to do that, so even as is, I like this, but has potential to expand this whole shelf and potential display options in the future. But then coming up here, the only addition is the Iron Man that I removed from the Avengers shelf earlier. As you can see, he's now in the armor collection over there. But then last but certainly not least, I added in this extra Cannonball figure. I do have one with my X-Force currently, but he was on my X-Men Overflow and decided, well, I could put him on my X-Men. I need to really get into the X-Men books, which I plan to do here in like a month, and just read through them. I've never read all the Claremont stuff, so I don't know if he's ever been on a proper X-Men team, but having this extra Cannonball, I felt like it would be an opportunity to fill out the shelf a little bit more. So I did it, and that's about it. So that's it in terms of what is actually now on the display. I'm going to show you what has been removed, and then we'll close out the video. Okay, and here is everything that was fully removed from the displays. So over here is just stuff that's going to go into my storage container or a box. Just ones that I removed for one reason or another, just to either not have on display or... Like Emma, for example, she can't stand for shit, so she got removed just because I didn't want her to keep falling over. And I removed Stealth Cap just to make some room for some other figures. That Storm, I want to upgrade because, like Emma, she can't stand for crap, so I want to track down an X-Men 97 Storm and just replace the body, basically just swapping the heads. I'm going to sell that Marvel Girl figure because we got the new one with the 2-pack Cyclops figure, so this one's garbage, so I'm just going to try and get rid of it. And then random here, I'm going to put with the X Factor team. I I haven't read that book. I'm not super familiar. I've just heard people talk about him being a part of the team, so I figured that would give a way to display him other than the X-Men Overflow shelf. And I thought it would make more room, but apparently it didn't on that shelf. So, but that update will be another video. In fact, it will probably be the next update I do because I need to add some risers to that display. And then I've got the X-Force figures, the Jean and Cyclops X-Factor figure. Those need to go on the display. So it's going to be all changing, and I figured I would put him in the mix for that. So, yeah, that is about everything. This was a lot of just random stuff being added, but I'm really liking how it's, shaping. There's a few displays that I still want to really, I don't know, find a good groove with, if that's the word. But I'm getting there. I'm liking the updates I've been doing if you've seen the last couple videos, but make sure you stay tuned because there's going to be plenty more. And yeah, I think it's where I'm going to leave it. So I will talk to you all in another video, another post, another time.